Good evening, viewers, and welcome once again to the Limit Racing. Tonight it is the turn of our Division 2 grid to take on the Temple of Speed. Tonight your commentary team is me once again, Bidley, and alongside me for this one is Revengezilla. It is Monza this week that the drivers must tackle with just 11 corners, this 3.6 mile long circuit featuring 2 DRS zones tonight, with the drivers down the DRS zone down the main straight, sure to provide plenty of overtaking opportunities in both the sprint race and the main race to follow. It would help if what I actually wrote made sense, but I did do it in about 3 minutes, so it's completely not right. It's completely not. But first, Revengezilla, good evening to you. We got there in the end. With the format of tonight's event, it is a short qualifying that the drivers must tackle first. Who are you expecting to do well in these pressurised conditions, and how quickly do you think we'll see drivers on the track?
It'll be depend on how people's initial laps go, because ideally you should have time for 3 runs in these qualifying sessions. One incident and maybe an extra push lap on one stint could leave you with not enough time to get a third lap, which is ideally when the conditions are at their finest. So it'll be a case of who can get the best banker laps in to begin with. So we will keep an eye on that.
Yeah, definitely then, as we're nearly a minute into the session already, and cars just about going out on circuit. Looking a bit late in the day here, I must say. The sun seems to be a bit low.
It is definitely on. It's unofficial. It's unofficial. Before I get lynched.
I was going to say it was a bit low. Just noticed I need to move the. I've been messing around with it today. You can probably tell. Oh, it's Nigel Piggle. Does a splendid job there. I'm going straight across the chicane there, and the early part of qualifying. You just waffle on a bit, Revengezilla, while I just make a quick change to something on the screen.
All right, who are you on board with, so I can waffle on about something relevant?
Nigel
Piggle then. So Nigel Piggle is the first driver out on track, but it looks like he is going to let our very own Jimmy Dog pass, who will then be the first driver to start a lap. But we'll stay on board with Nigel Piggle for the sake of the stream in the Haas this evening, as he is every Tuesday. And we'll see what his top speed is down the end of the straight. I know some drivers tend to play about a little bit with the setup in terms of wings round here. Some people opting for a higher front wing than rear wing and vice versa. So it'll be interesting to see what speeds Nigel Piggle can get up to with the ERS, DRS and low wings. It looks like he's topping out at just about 217 miles an hour, so he's definitely running some low wings indeed. I know from personal experience in the Div 1 race last night, a lot of the drivers were using 2.0 wings or even 4.2 wings if they wanted a little bit extra downforce. So expect to see a lot of overtaking opportunities down the front straight then. Nigel Piggle taking the first sector very smoothly indeed, although did take a little bit too much curb at turn 1, which unsettled the car a little bit and hindered his exit towards turn 3. But he's navigated the second sector very well, Bidley, and it looks like coming down into Ascari now. It's going to be a 53.4 first sector. He's got his sights set and a good target in front of Jimmy Dog, who seems to be closing in on. So it looks like even though Jimmy Dog will be the first to set a lap, that it will be Nigel Piggle who takes provisional pole position. And he comes around the parabolica now. Jimmy Dog looks to have backed out of his lap then. He might have invalidated. So we'll see what Nigel Piggle can set across the line. It's a 20.5, which is a pretty good banker time, and I'm sure he'll be happy with that as we see who comes across the line next. It's going to be the Lapio Finn then. He did a 53.8 second sector, and it's going to be a 21.2, so he's 3/4 of a second off the pace then. And that's going to leave Big Maxwell's the next coming round. He is on an outlap, so we'll jump back to him further down the line as Darth Grey Fox, I believe, is on a lap. He did a 53.9 second sector, so expect him to be a little bit off the pace here. He is. It's only 4 tenths as he jumps up the P2.
Yeah, not a bad lap there initially from Nigel Piggle, as you mentioned, in CTX as well. One driver that is struggling at the moment then is Law in the Williams this evening, as Jimmy Dog then looks like he's already found himself in the wars in qualifying and is out of the session. So, not too sure what happened there to the old Jimmy Dog. Oh, he's dropped it after the first Lesmo. He's done a 2009 Lewis Hamilton. Fantastic. Great job there. It should be said that the McLaren are in their special livery this evening. I think, have they got rid of the Ferrari one now, I think? They have. And it's now the McLarens then. I don't really like it, but there you go. LWS Yorkie then sets the fastest time so far, as we just watched Big Maxwell then invalidate on his first flying run. LWS Yorkie putting the pace down half a second up then over Nigel Piggle in P2 at the moment. Jimmy Dog on the chat then saying that his throttle got stuck, apparently. That's the reason why he was in the wall. And while all that was going on, we got a sub from the lovely Espenio then, who is in P3 at the moment in his McLaren. So thank you for that one, Espenio. And we have got then some drivers going slowly on the track, trying to get out of the way at the minute. It'll be nice to see how long's left of the session. Of course, 12.5 minutes now. This is, as I said, the only qualifying session we will have this evening, as Espenio now looks to be the latest driver who's retired. Just coming over the line, I think. That is very strange place to lose the car. Let's see if we can get on board with Viking Beeson.
I'd hate to see Espenio's bank statement, Bidley. Sorry to interrupt, but it's going to be just constant payments to the TTL PayPal. But we love him for it, and he funds our dinners. So thanks, Espenio, once again. Bidley is one step closer then to drinking milk out of a shoe.
I should say, people get this wrong. That goal in the bottom right is a follower goal, as you can see in the middle of the screen. So you don't have to pay.
I have the stream on chat only at the minute, I'm afraid. So I cannot see it.
There you go then.
Oh, here we go. I've got it on now. Oh, we're 63 out of 100, guys.
Yeah.
If you haven't followed the stream already, get a follow. Get it down, because we are only 37 followers away from Bidley. It's going to be a 2-pointer at least. Fill up the
that's a lot of milk in a shoe. I'll be honest.
Have you decided what shoe you're going for? Because it's going to be pretty much written off this shoe once.
I've got a pretty old. Is it? I can't remember what
Your pair of Yeezys, get them done.
No, is it Adidas Inikis or something like that? I can't remember the pronounce now. I've got an old pair of them knocking around, so I was thinking I'll. In fact, I think I used the other shoe to do my beer out of that one time or whatever it is.
So, got Shadows saying we need Tiger Gamer back. I tell you what, if we get to 200 followers, Tiger Gamer will be allowed back for a social race.
Yeah, we'll force him to come back as well.
We'll force him. We'll tell him. Yeah, we'll give him some false hope.
Yeah. Fingers crossed then we can get back on our beloved Tiger Gamer. We're a few followers off that though. We've got to shoot a drink out of before we get to that. Anyway,
we'll talk about a bit more about the qualifying, I guess. Lewis Yorkie then really setting the pace out in front. He's 4 tenths ahead of Borley in P2. Espenio looks. I couldn't tell. You said he had a bit of an incident on the pit straight. Was that right?
Yeah, his car was just lying really at the pit exit. Not too sure what happened. We'll see.
Not ideal.
Get into chat and let us know what happened. Plixty at the moment looks like he's on a very good lap then for Aston Martin. Currently 17th at the moment, and all these laps then will count as positions, of course, for the sprint race that will follow very shortly, and we'll see where Plixty can provisionally put that Aston Martin as he runs over a tyre that's lying on the pit straight, and Plixty then into P8 with a 120.9.
Yeah, really solid banker time then for the Aston Martin driver. Joins his teammate, just separated by half a tenth then in 6th and 8th respectively. Split by our championship leader, Viking Beast, who's currently provisionally setting in P7 as Nigel Piggle then first drive it into the 1:19s, only just though by half a tenth, and split him and Yorkie by a tenth and a half.
Very good lap then from Nigel Piggle. I'm sure there'll be some of the drivers that'll look to try and get into the 1:19s, and the next driver to have a go at that is Law. Unfortunately for him, it is a 1:21.1 then, only enough for 12th fastest then, just ahead of his teammate for this evening, the Lapio Finn, who he puts down to P13 then. And is Maxwell finally going to get a time on the board? I think he's on an outlap at the moment, despite it not telling us that. But the only driver then, apart from Jimmy Dog, not to get a time
in. Yeah, in the meantime, one of our championship contenders, Valente, gets himself inside that Aston Martin sandwich then with a 1:20.843. So it's very marginal there between, 7th and sort of 13th. Very, very minimal times can get you big gains in terms of starting position. And we will just allude to the fact that this is a sprint format weekend. So this qualifying order will not, be the end of the world if you're down the bottom of the order. I'm sure Jimmy Dog will be grateful for a second opportunity to get a better qualifying position. But this qualifying position will give the drivers a good chance of getting some extra points in this sprint race, Biddle.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, that means you have to try and stay out the war zone in the sprint race to try and get a good starting position for the main race, as we see Darth Grey Fox then into P5 for Red Bull. Decent time from him. I think that's the highest he's been really in a qualifying session in TTL. He's got to make sure he doesn't get a nosebleed. he's that high up the timing charts. It's impressive from Darth Grey Fox.
We'll just quickly jump to the Ferrari, guys. It looks like Ashley is going to come across the line and make an improvement. He did. It was at 9/10 and he set a 1:20.5, even with a slightly dodgy parabolica. And his teammate Marsbar was going to come across the line and improve, but it looks like he's had a bit of a stinker parabolica and he's into the pits and he's going to put his last set of tyres on then. But we'll jump back to GRM Doctor, who's done a 54.2 middle sector. So if he can... Is this an outlap? Oh no, that's not invalidated this in next lap, has it?
It has.
Oh no.
It has.
Back on board with CTX then. Oh, he's invalidated. Back on board with Gopher then, as he's half a tenth down in the second sector. We'll see what he's got round Ascari and Parabolica. He comes across the line then, it's only a 1:20.2. He's not improved. He's not quite got the ERS to do another hot lap.
Definitely not. Viking Beast at the moment though. He's 3/10 up through the second sector. Last week's race winner in Division 2 then goes P4 for AlphaTauri then. Something that Revenger will be slightly happy with. You might expect more from Viking Beast given his pace in Mexico last time out, but it is P4 for now then.
Fiddler Ash down in the chat is asking, how are we both?
I'm alright.
Right, sound, yeah, I'm alright as well, mate. Anyway, moving on. Nigel Pickle, 19th in the speed trap. But somehow P1.
Yeah. Which is surprising, really, given this circuit.
Obviously, unbelievable in the corners.
Maxwell, at the moment, still can't get any luck. Can't get a time down. I know he was a bit late to the session, as I think he was relieving himself of tonight's dinner.
He said he's been kicked. Don't need to be paying attention. Guys, if you have been kicked from the lobby at any point, please ping me on Discord so I can see it. Otherwise, I will not see it.
Yeah, he's blind. He's blind as a bat.
I have the Twitch chat open on my phone, so I will not see it unless you ping me.
Yeah, he's got the Twitch chat open. He's got a twitch in his eyes while it'll close every time someone leaves. Ashdown says, was expecting more from you both. Not just, yeah, I'm alright. Well, I mean...
I can tell you about my day from start to finish if you like, but unfortunately we're not going to hear any of the rest of qualifying if that is the case.
Yeah. As RSF1 Locker was slightly up through the second sector, and we'll see what he can do now through the final sector. Crosses the line, and it is a 10th improvement then, and into P5, so not bad.
Yeah. He doesn't carry a toothbrush on a night out. Quick, Steve, on an outlet.
I'm now decent, crosses the line, goes P15.
What an improvement. He goes out to P15. Go on the boy.
4 tenths quicker than his previous lap, but only improves by 1 place. Ashdown wants the highlights of your day. I think we'll get to that between the qualifying and the sprint session.
Yeah,
I guess.
unfortunately, for patient confidentiality, I can't really give you the details of my day, but not
We
on
don't need
stream
names.
anyway.
We don't need names.
We don't need names. Oh, well, there was some mud.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that later on.
Not many healthy people, shall I say.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of
Plixty.
healthy people, we're on board with Plixty. I
Yeah.
bet he's an absolute mountain as he comes round Lesmo 1 now into Lesmo 2, hits the apex nicely and gets on the power, and he's going to reap the benefits of that good exit on down towards Ascari. We're going to see what his second sector split leaves him at. It's going to be a 53-4, which is actually a very solid second sector split. So he just needs a nice tidy Ascari, which he gets, and he's 4 tenths up on his time, and this can see him jump up as high as P4. Bidley's laughing. Bun the NHS in the chat. Ideal. Not sure if that's what you're laughing at, but nonetheless. Let's hope you don't get ill at any point, Shadows, because then you won't be saying fucking bun the NHS.
Plixty's across the line and goes P3.
Plixty!
What a time from Plixty and the Aston Martin into
I've got
P3.
some prawn linguine in the fridge. I'll be back in 2 seconds. I'm going to go grab that.
Absolutely fantastic. He's just had his dinner, but he's off to get some prawn linguine. I'm now decent, just starting a lap then. 2.5 minutes left on the clock, so lots of drivers then winding up for their final laps. Balente, though, is 2 tenths up at the moment on his previous lap, so this should put him up the starting order slightly then if he has a decent final sector as well. Crosses the line, and it was a decent final sector into P9 then with a 120.5. Darth Grey Fox down to P10 now after being as high as P5. His vertigo might be disappearing slightly now, and he's sat in the pits as well, so I don't think he's going to improve by too much either. So lots of drivers are starting their final runs. Let's try and find a driver who's running around there at the moment on a fast lap. The Lapio Finn 1.2 seconds down, so not particularly setting the times alight. I'm now decent is 300ths up on his previous lap, but backs off then to have another run, and behind him you've got Law on a outlap then. So it's all on Maxwell, who hasn't put a time on the board just yet. We are nearly through an entire 18-minute qualifying session. We've seen him out on track, but we haven't seen him be able to put a valid time on the board. Through the parabolic canal, let's see if he can keep his foot to the floor, which he does. Not a lot of fuel left in that McLaren. Crosses the line, and with his only lap in qualifying then goes into P12 with a 120.7. And there's quite a bit of a train going on just behind him. Go for the minute, who's in championship contention and crosses the line and can only do as well as P13 then. And there's plenty of other times coming through then. Mars Bar now then also on a lap or on an outlap. It's not telling me again. That's fantastic there. Balente 2 on an outlap. RSF1 Locker is also on an outlap. So we're going to have a lot of runners here eventually to talk about why your mouth is full of prawn linguine.
Absolutely. In between mouthfuls, I'll jump in, mate.
I thought you'd already had your dinner.
Yeah, I did, but you know when, like, you don't make enough?
Yeah, I guess. GRM Doctor's just left, by the way, if you want to drop him and invite. 3 minutes left then with the drivers on their final times now. The checkered flag waves in qualifying, and the Lapio Finn is the first driver. Plixty 2 will not improve on his lap. Looks like Maxwell's going a bit slow. We thought he was out of fuel. Looks like he's not going to get a time in to improve. Gopher, I don't think he's going to improve either. Not a lot of battery in that Mercedes, and I think he'll struggle to improve on a 120.7. You've got Viking Beast coming around the parabolic now. Is this going to be an improvement on his 120.4? Doesn't look like it. So it's really up to them. Marsbar and Ashi in the Ferraris. Marsbar doing well at the moment. Ashi doesn't improve from P5. Marsbar improves to P15 then. And that's pretty much it in qualifying. And that then looks to be your starting order on the left hand side of your screen as all the drivers into the pits. And Zilla thought on being banned from the final F2 race. It's what Ashdown's put in the chat. That's not really relevant, is it, Ashdown? Come on, lad.
No comment.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I will give you a comment. Shit on the stewarding team. Shit on the Tidgeon.
Anyway, I was just going to say, Lapio Finn says the times are very close, which they are, from Plixty then in P4. Only about 4 tenths between P4 and P14 then. So it's very interesting and eventually. Do you think we're going to see a lot of drivers evenly matched then in the sprint race?
No, I think it's going to be a runaway victory for Viking B.
Runaway victory from Viking B started P8
Yeah.
then. There is your classification for qualifying. Then it was quite close at the top in the end, despite Yorkie taking the early advantage. It's Nigel Piggle on pole then for the sprint race. LWS Yorkie P2 with CTX and Plixty then on row 2. Then it's RSF1 Locker filling in the Alpine tonight with Ashley alongside him. Bally, Viking B, Suspeni and Valente rounding off the top 10. And then we go to the bottom half of the field.
Unbelievably close.
Tom, Grey Fox, the Lapio Finn, Gopher, Big Maxwell, Marsbar, Law, I'm Now Decent, Doctor, and Jimmy Dog, who we saw spin out in qualifying then, unable to set a time then. And we're going to go into the sprint race. Revengula, do you want to give us an update on your day, apparently?
How is the timer at 21 seconds before we've even... What?
I think that's just drivers loading in, I'll be honest.
Oh, it better be, because... Did you have a timer on the screen?
No, I didn't have one. No,
okay. Alright, we're good.
Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying,
what was the question,
Ashdown wants a summary of your day.
I woke up, had a bowl of crave for breakfast.
Oh, what crave? Is it just a standard red one? Whatever that one is.
It's the red box.
Yeah, red box.
Had a bowl of that. Obviously, I had a shower, got dressed, put on, drove to work. Listened to Avril Lavigne on the way to work.
As you do.
As you do. Then put some drum and bass on when I got in the car park to hype myself up.
Get yourself a day of tending to the elderly. So.
Yeah. Got into work, went to Costa, bought a chai latte.
Ooh,
drank the chai latte.
Naughty.
Got myself a voucher because I got 4 beans on the Costa app, and I got a voucher for 2 maple hazelnut lattes for £4.
Wow, I mean,
which was got to be used by tomorrow because that's the deadline. So tomorrow I'm getting 2 coffees in the morning. Then went up to the wards, saw my patients. Some were good, some were not. Had a meeting. Had some lunch.
Yeah. Well.
What did I have for lunch? Chicken wraps and a protein yogurt from Tesco.
Alright, lovely. What kind of protein? By the way, everyone is waiting for the host to ready up.
Yeah, by the way, I realised that I'm a host, so can someone ready up, please? Aidan Brooks says, any recent news in FPRL? I don't know, I heard...
TTL dinner lady. TTL dinner ladies in the chat.
Anyway, I've only got up to lunchtime. By the way, someone ready up for the love of God. We'll sit here all night.
Yeah, we do need a ready up. This is not ideal.
No one wants to be the first to do it.
Good lads, wait for us to say.
I've not made a drink. Oh, Bidley, I've just eaten my prawn linguine and not got a drink. You're gonna have to run it through the formation like that.
Yeah, you do need something to wash down the prawn linguine with.
Exactly. That is. It's done the trick, that as well.
Yeah. Anyway, quickly to have a look at the football scores as we do on these Tuesday evenings when the Champions League is running.
What do we think in the chat about Juventus losing 2-0?
Yeah, Juventus losing 2-0 to Maccabi Haifa. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation. I doubt it. Chelsea.
I think you bit the nail on the head there, Bidley.
Chelsea are 1-0 up, which you hate because of your road to the knockout Benica. Not ideal.
That's all right. There's still 2 games left.
It's true. Manchester City drew 0-0. Real Madrid still drawing 0-0 after half an hour. PSG.
Who got sent off for City?
0-0. It was Gomez. And Tomori's been sent off for AC Milan as well, so that's less than ideal. Anyway, we'll quickly look at the tyres then. Let's go back to the racing quickly.
No, shit on the tyres. Shit on the tyres. We're talking about the football here. Ashdown says honkers Juventus are. Yeah, they've not had a great day, have they?
Yeah, it's not ideal for them.
Ain't everyone on the same tyres? Does anyone gamble for the socks? Oh, we've got 2 people on the socks. Yorkie thinks they're going to go 9 laps. And I remember from yesterday looking at this, and the game told me they'd be at 88% come the end of the race. So I think the risk is highly outweighing the reward here for one potential place game for Yorkie.
Yeah,
I think he's lost his head.
I think Granzi made him work yesterday, though. I mean, I know a lot went on in the race, but
I think he binned it in the sprint.
Oh, did he? I thought he finished quite well in there.
Yeah, because he came back on the track, didn't he? And took out Tiddlywing.
I thought that was Jock.
No, I battled Jock in the sprint, and I was battling Black
I don't know. Has
P13.
Tidgeon put the results on? We could have a look on the Discord. I'm sure he did alright in the sprint.
Either way, it doesn't matter. I think
That's
softs in
anyway.
the sprint is suicidal. Ashdown is not a fan of softs in the sprint.
Just to prove you wrong, right? Groundsy finished the sprint 8th after starting 12th. So have that.
Yeah, you know he
have
did.
that.
I know he did.
Yeah, have that. Right.
But he would have finished
Shut
like
up.
4th.
Shut up, listen.
Right then, I'm going to go on board with Jimmy Dog because he is going to cause an absolute riot into turn 1.
Yeah, I imagine lots of
They
drivers.
seem to be taking the formation like very slow. This is an absolute car park down the back straight.
Yeah, Nigel Piggle will lead the pack onto the grid. We had some very
quick game,
clean
everyone.
driving,
You remember
though.
the game? Remember the game?
Yeah.
How many people are going to get disqualified? Quickly, get your answers in the chat.
Yeah, we had a really good bit of racing in the sprint race yesterday. I don't know how good it was for you, but it was really good.
So again, oh yeah, the sprint race was really good fun. Even though I battled for no point,
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun, and it looked like a lot of fun out in front.
Yeah.
Doctors managed to get disqualified before even making it to his grid slot. We've got 2. Aidan Brooks has got it wrong. Then Aidan Brooks he also got it wrong, but he's the closest because he's the only one that guessed.
Yeah. So thanks for that, Aidan Brooks. And we are going to get going then in this sprint race
Oh, the
eventually.
lights are out and they're all still.
Yeah, it's still the same when the host is spectating. But there we go, the lights are out there. Nigel Piggle does get away in his hat. It looks like he's got away rather well initially, but can LWS Yorkie then challenge down into turn 1? And not quite as he feeds in behind both Aston Martins then getting tangled up with one another. That's a big shame for them. Plixty's Plixty, no.
It's absolute tatters at Aston Martin. Plixty completely misses his braking point and slams straight into the back of his teammate, and then someone collects him and takes his front wing.
A 5-second penalty for Law as well. Then
I will be very,
colliding with
very
his
surprised
teammate.
if CTX does not have rear wing damage.
We'll see how he manages that Aston Martin then in the opening phase of this race. It's both Aston Martins getting together and both Williams as well as Ashley. We just saw on board there with CTX losing the back of his Ferrari then into the wall. We have a virtual safety car on the opening lap here, not a full safety car. But yeah, that's a nightmare opening lap for Aston Martin and for Ashley.
Absolutely, but up 6 places, it's the mighty Jimmy Dog. He does not have a... Oh my lord, look at the front of Jimmy Dog's car. You need to get this on stream. Have a look at the front of his car. Oh my lord, it looks like the Concorde.
That is not ideal. But it's not ideal.
Anyway, up 7 places, both MONZA and I'm Now Decent having a very good start indeed. Negler looked to have a decent safety car restart, but it looks like up front, Viking Beast has managed to have a good start at 5 places, and the top 3 have got a gap of 4 seconds now back to CTX. Although it will be highly likely that CTX has got some damage, so it looks like, barring any safety cars, we've got a 3-way battle for the lead middle.
Yeah, we have hopefully then as the virtual safety car in 4 drivers also into the pits as well then in this early phase of the sprint race. It's that short, we only get 9 laps in total and we only have another 7.5 really now to go. So lots of work to be made up. Viking Beast though, as you mentioned, a great start for him up 5. CTX looks like he's going to try and continue, but he's already 4.5 seconds off the back of Viking Beast. So perhaps what you said, Revenger, that he might have rear wing damage as suspected.
Yeah, really, as you said, really looks to be struggling now, and he is under pressure from the Alpine of RSF1 Locker. And it'll be interesting to see if the Alpine driver is going to burn a little bit of that battery, because the DRS is not going to be available. Oh dear.
And Big Maxwell.
Anyway, as I was saying, I think we've avoided the safety car, so we can carry on. Will Locker look to burn some of this battery, because there's not going to be any DRS for another half a lap, and he will be desperate to get past this Aston Martin. But up front, it's Lewis Yorkie who's looking to make good use of the soft compound tyres, but he's gone a bit deep in turn 1, and Nigel Piggle's going to get the better exit and give himself a little bit of breathing room for now.
Yeah, Nigel Piggle doing well considering the tyre difference at the moment, but if what you said about those tyres, there's Jimmy Dog is also in the wall then, getting it completely wrong coming out of the Ascari, and he will start then the main race in 15th, which surprisingly is still an improvement on where he started the sprint, so he can't complain too much. But Nigel Piggle doing really well at the moment, and as I was saying, yeah, eventually, what you're saying about these soft tyres is true. Surely Yorkie's already starting to feel some sort of tyre wear now.
Yeah, I know for sure that the overheating even on the mediums was, quite severe. So if he can manage to keep these tyres in a decent operating window in terms of temperature, then, fair play to him, and that's obviously going to be a very difficult task. He is going to get aided by the DRS of Nigel Piggle, but I think when it comes to getting close enough to make a move, I'm not sure he's going to have the grip in the turn 1 and 2 to actually make the move stick.
Yep, definitely then. Lewis Yorkie almost a second back from Nigel Piggle already, then Viking Beast doing his damn best to try and hold on as well to the front too, as we've got RSF1 Locker then having a sniff on the back of CTX, who we think he's carrying some sort of damage then from an opening lap incident with his teammate then, who will start the main race in 18th. I know just before the race, Plixty put a heartfelt message to everybody saying he wanted to finish a race today. Well, he's not done very well the first time round, so let's hope.
Yeah, but if you don't use your brakes in the turn 1, the likelihood is you're not going to finish the race, my friend.
Yeah, definitely then. And Marsbar, I'm Now Decent, as you said, both having great sprints so far. Then Marsbar on the back of Valente at the moment, half a second back as well, so there might be a fight on there. Remember, Lewis Yorkie is now the only one of the drivers who started on his soft tyres. Darth Grey Fox, interestingly, off on the hards, which is a bit strange. Well,
maybe he didn't want to use. What was he on before? Mediums.
Mediums, I think. Anyway, Lewis Yorkie then is all over the back of Nigel Piggle. He was a 10th back into the Parabolica, gets the fastest lap to go with it. Nigel Piggle using a lot of that battery to try and defend down into turn 1, and once again, even though Nigel Piggle says that Haas is 19th in the speed trap in qualifying, it does look like it's got some pace in a straight line.
He's made a few adjustments into qualifying, in between qualifying and the race, it seems. But it looks like behind, Valente is struggling to keep on the back of Borley, and also Viking Beast is struggling to keep on the back of the front too. Looks like both Yorkie and Viking Beast both having a little bit of trouble there into turn 4 on that inside curb, and it's just once again given Nigel Piggle a little bit of much needed breathing room, but it's Yorkie who's got the most ERS then out of the front 3.
Yeah, ideal for Yorkie, who can try and use that ERS and to counteract the tyre wear that he's going to start feeling. Probably a slap onwards, but it looks like he has got a little bit of an advantage over Nigel Pickle. And just as I say that, then the Alpine is round out of the Ascari, and the cars having to try and get out of the way everywhere. But unfortunately, his teammate then has run into him, and it is a safety car in the sprint race then. LWS Yorkie backwards on the track. There was not much he could do. He was damned if he did, damned if he didn't.
Unfortunately, he's been given a drive through as well.
It's his teammate that's gone into him, so not ideal at all for the Alpine team and for LWS Yorkie.
Yeah, drive through given them, a bit harsh from the game, obviously. Yeah, he wouldn't have had a lot of control over his car coming back onto the track there, and Locker is the unfortunate candidate that's got caught up in that incident. But it does mean then that our drivers that got caught up at turn 1 on lap 1 have got an opportunity now back in this race. It looks like Gopher's going to be the first of the fresh tyre runners, so really going to look at him then to make some moves in the what's probably going to be a final 2-lap dash.
Yep. 2-lap dash, indeed. Safety car will be in, I think, at the end of lap 7 then. Yeah, car's a bit spread out at the moment. Whilst the safety car is out, then we have got an update for you on the scorecast. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has made it 2-0 for Chelsea. Tidjum is livid, saying that the referee cannot stop getting his cards out. That's nice. Hope he's got a birthday card for me. Birthday tomorrow, you know.
He's lying, everybody. Yeah. Actually, this is it. If you guys haven't already, if you haven't bought Bidley a birthday present for tomorrow, and you really appreciate how good quality the stream is and how well the Discord is run, if you want to show your appreciation for Bidley on his birthday, drop us a sub. Empty your bank account into the donations, whatever you like.
Yeah, all proceeds will go towards Bidley's
PayPal filled up.
Bidley's birthday
going
fund.
on a night out Saturday. He needs a bottle of Ciroc, and at B at 1, that's about £3,000.
That is true. I don't even know if they sell it, but it's that expensive. But yeah, Bidley's birthday fund. If anyone wants to put towards that, that'd be great. I can't get the money until we get something like 70 quid worth of subs, but happy days.
Right, so if anyone wants to gift 10 subs, that would be absolutely brilliant.
Anyway, safety car should be coming to Jimmy. Oh no, Jimmy Dog just realised it's my birthday. Not today, tomorrow, Jimmy Dog, but thanks for that. I'm scared. I'm scared as to what he's going to do. Anyway, the drivers at the back of the pack, Law and Darthberry Fox, probably need to get a bit of a hurry up. Safety car will be in on this lap to give us 2 laps of racing now. And as it stands, Nigel Pickle then will be the winner of the sprint race if he can hold off a charging AlphaTauri of Viking Beast.
That's an awful commentator's curse.
Well,
Nigel Pickle will be the winner. Will be now.
I said unless the Viking Beast wants to absolutely batter him. Hopefully. TTL Dinner Lady says 50 subs for Zilla's Nudes.
50 subs, you can... I don't know, I'll ask him to do a full x-ray and see my body, and you can have a look at the results. Never mind the nudes. You can see inside the body if you like.
Anyway, Nigel Pickle then is a bit close to the safety
50
car.
subs, right?
Bit close to the safety car. This is going to look to get away. C6 looks like he's passed Viking Beast before the safety car line. Had to give the place back, and that's caught him out on the restart there. Nigel Pickle's got away cleanly and has got the gap up to a handful of tenths then. We've only got 12 drivers left in the sprint race, believe it or not. So, I mean, hopefully we see a bit better in the feature race. CTX is all over the rear diffuser, I should say. Oh,
Good lord,
bully.
what have I just watched?
I did all that. Just as I say
Did you
that,
not see that?
I couldn't quite believe what's happened. Mars bar.
It's been spun round.
Ah, dear. Oh, Mars bar.
Oh my lord.
Oh, God. The violins.
And somehow
We'll start
Espelio, after
playing.
boxing lap 1 on a sprint, is in the podium places.
This has not gone very well, unfortunately, for Mars bar CTX or Bully there. Mars bar will now start 12th in the main race then. But who's going to start on pole then? Is it going to be Viking Beast or Nigel Piggle? Viking Beast won't have the assistance of DRS, so it might be difficult here to get the jump on the Haas driver. Dark Grey Fox is in a position here to maybe start in 6th place. That's unbelievable from him as he gets past Valente on a fresh set of soft tyres somehow. We're watching Viking Beast not able to get anywhere near the back of the Haas driver and has to settle for 2nd place on the road once again. But as you said, Espenio then in P3 at the moment. I have no idea where this has come from, but he's doing a great job at the moment and looks like he is going to start P3 as long as he can keep Law then behind him, although Law is carrying a penalty at the moment. It's probably a good time to check those penalties actually. He's got a 5-second penalty and that will drop him back.
Oh dear.
A good few places with that safety car. Not ideal.
Well,
Here.
coming down into Ascari, Bidley, Viking Beast, it is the last lap of the race. 3 tenths behind Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah.
They've both got similar amounts of DRS, so it's going to have to be full send then into Ascari for Viking Beast. It looks like Gopher has dropped it again. And Nigel Piggle then had a very solid Ascari. So it looks like, barring any problems at the Parabolica, he is going to take the win from start to finish in the sprint race. And that sets himself up very nicely indeed for the race to come. Espenio is going to come across the line in P3 and we'll see where Law finishes after the 5-second penalty is applied. It's looking like it's going to be P8, but we will wait and see. The Lapio Finn then taking P4. He's happy with that, giving it a bit of a wiggle over the line, just ahead of Darth Grey Fox by a 10th. And as we predicted, Law down in P8.
Well,
that was carnage, those last 2 laps.
It was. Baldy finishes the race with no front wing, as too does his teammate Gopher. There was a lot of incidents on the last lap there. I'm sure a certain Ferrari driver might not be too happy with something that happens on the final lap. Driver of the day, Darth Grey Fox. P5 for the main race and the fastest lap as well, but we'll get onto that very shortly then. There is your classification for the sprint race then. It is Nigel Piggle who is then going to start the main race on pole. He was fastest in qualifying and now he's won the sprint. Can anyone challenge him in the main race? Viking Beast will start alongside him on the front of the grid. It's Espenio then somehow finds himself in P3 and all that madness. The Lapio Finn, Darth Grey Fox is P5 as I've already said. Valente P6. I am now decent in P7 as well. Law, CTX and Bally round off the top 10. Revengezilla, based on what you've seen there, I don't know who, if anyone, you could nominate to be the driver of the sprint. But if you want to pick a driver out of a hat at this point, let's hear who your driver of the sprint is.
I think a very solid race from start to finish. Controlled it from the front. I think Nigel Piggle's going to be my driver of the sprint.
Yeah. Nigel Piggle
didn't put a foot wrong.
Yeah, I could not agree more with that. Really led pretty much as you said from start to finish. So a great race from Nigel Piggle. Darth Grey Fox.
Looks like we've got a dry main race as well, Bidley.
Darth Grey Fox has been robbed. Starting P4, P5 I should say, he's probably going to have a nosebleed again. Starting that far up. Don't think
You've
he's...
got to ask yourself, where is the Lapio Fin in all this?
Where is Lapio Fin? Lapio Fin is
Right,
P4.
we'll have a look then. I'll have a little gander on the race director, and we'll have a look at
Good luck
starting
getting back
tyres.
out of it. Good luck getting back out of the race director.
I'm out on the race director. Oh, I'm stuck on the race director.
Yeah. You can't go into...
Did you know this was going to happen?
Yeah, that's why I said good luck getting off. You're still waiting to it anyway.
Whose idea was this? Didn't they just patch the game?
Yeah, the patch came out today, and it brought F2 2022, which I'm sure everyone was really keen for, and a silly little McLaren livery, but they can't fix the basics, so happy days.
The game allows you to make 8 overtakes on the safety car. Penalty free.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not great, is
as
it?
you would know.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know where I got that bit of information from, but it's just something I heard through the grapevine.
It's on the rumour mill. It's on the rumour mill somewhere. Yeah. So we have got then in the chat Lapio Finn saying, mate, I was caught up on a lap 1 incident, but still ended up P4. You did indeed, Lapio Finn. I don't know if you're after a bit of credit or praise for that, but you can have it, I guess, if you want. I'm now decent saying, I threaded the needle after the safety car. Felt like Lightning McQueen. I don't remember the Cars movie where Lightning McQueen ever finished P7, but if there was one...
And definitely not behind Darth Grey Fox, that's for sure. Lightning McQueen could never.
Yeah.
Right then, I'm stuck in the race director, so I don't know what's going on. If someone would like to ready up,
yeah, go on, Pigley.
Absolutely splendid.
Go on,
Pigley.
Go on, the Pigley. Go on, the Pigley. Get it done. Get it done, Pigley. 12 minutes to 9. Then these sprint formats do go a bit quicker than the main qualifying, which is whether you enjoy this format or not. No idea. But
I think this format is sensational.
Yeah.
So much more action. I mean, from a commentary point of view, it is definitely far better. I know some racers enjoy the 3 qualifying sessions and really battling it out in a time trial format, but being shocking at qualifying myself, I definitely prefer the race aspect. Okay, so how do I get out of the race director here?
You have to dashboard
the formation,
and come back in.
But I'm the host.
Yeah. 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 Just leave the game normally if you can. Can you leave or not?
No, I can't press the start button.
Yeah, well, yeah. Do you want to just wait till after the start of the race so it doesn't mess up for the start? And then hopefully... it's looking a bit ropey already, to be honest. I'm not going to lie, Nigel Piggles just hit the wall and then come back onto the track. Ashley's been disqualified in something with GRM Doctor.
So is this stuck for the race as well?
Yeah, it's stuck for the whole thing. You have to dashboard. There's no way out of it.
Alright, well, if you could send me a game invite.
I mean, don't leave just yet. I was going to try and get the start underway. At least. Hopefully we don't have a glitch. Oh, well.
Well, I'm not in the game, so...
Bloody heck. Why have we done that then? Oh, we've had
well, like, if we have to restart,
Spenio's been disqualified. Less than ideal. I don't know what's happening. I'll keep an eye on it. We might, everyone watching the stream, thanks to the fraudulent actions of Revenge Zilla as
well, I wasn't aware that the game didn't allow you to get off the race director.
Balling. I did tell you. I did say good luck.
Yes, after I was on it. Yeah, after I said, let's have a look at the race director,
said,
and you just say, good luck. What's that supposed to mean? Can I have an invite, please?
Any minute. Got to start. Do you need? Is
it
it not on friends only? Can you not just get back in? I saw Wolf Strudel join earlier, so I don't know if it was on friends only. Just rejoin. Oh, Nigel Piggle's car has just sailed past the grid. They're not lining up on the grid, Zilla.
Oh.
They've all carried on past the grid box.
I punt a new love it.
Oh, bloody heck.
What are you saying?
Yeah, I would. Let me get a picture of the grid for
All
you.
right.
I will,
Right,
I will
everybody,
start,
we can do a lobby restart.
We're going. Oh, Wolf Strudel is still in the lobby. He's just left. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a lobby restart then, as the cars all continue round. Oh, wait, and now Nigel Pickle stopped, and they've all stopped at turn 3. I think this is all the cars. Everyone is getting disqualified. Yeah. Everyone watching the stream, we're gonna restart. Oh, all the cars have just gone back into their grid places. Yorkie's jump started. Yeah, we're gonna do a restart. So yeah. Everyone wants to rejoin Revengezilla.
Yeah, you give me 2 seconds, everybody, whilst I.
It's the first lap safety car as well for something happening.
Probably Piggle, let's be honest.
Yeah. Everyone wants to rejoin Revengezilla. I'll get a ping out.
Yeah, if you could get me a screenshot of the grid.
I have got that. I have done that. I thought about that. That's... oh, that's Ping Division 1. There we go. That's not what I did.
Okay, it's not looking too good. It's saying EA account required to log in. Nigel Pickle, hello. He's clicked the wrong button there.
We might have heard Nigel Pickle talk. Come on, Piggly.
Sprint race interview.
Oh, I have just pinged Division 1 again. We're going to take a short break then, whilst we get this lobby restarted. I'll keep the stream running though, but we'll get it restarted, so bear with us a couple of minutes, and as I said, everyone rejoin Revengezilla, and we'll be back shortly. Hello everyone, we're back. We've had the
Hello, everyone. Quick interim football score time.
we've had the TTL equivalent, I think, of a red flag. Is what I'll give that.
Maury's got sent off against Chelsea.
Oh, Tamori, I've already said that.
Like all the
Surely
ex-Chelsea
half-time.
players are getting booked.
Yeah, what? Olivier Giroud as well. Is that what we're going with there?
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome back everyone.
And
We're here,
Real
we're here,
Madrid
we're here,
are
we're here.
losing a Shakhtar.
We're here. We're here. We need to
No,
apologise.
no.
So no, we need to apologise.
Reverse.
We need to apologise to everyone for such fraudulent activities.
Everybody, clap your hands.
We're here. We've made it. We're back. Hopefully this time they all park up in their grid slots. What was I saying? I think I jinxed it by saying it was like 8:45 and we were going to be done early. That's not going to happen anymore.
Yeah, now we're not going to be finished until 10 o'clock, so you've well and truly done us in.
Yeah, it's less than ideal. But, you know, back to the racing anyway. We can see the tyre choices then. Both Alpines on the hard tyres. Plixty
Where Shadow subscribe?
on the hard tyres. No, he hasn't.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's not popped up. It would have popped up with
Shit's
a
in
nice
the ash
picture
down then.
of...
Anyway,
what's his name? Jimmy Dog on the soft.
John Ruddy.
You know.
Oh.
Jimmy Dog on the
Is
soft.
he the only one on a different tyre? Oh no, they got some
No.
hard runners at the back. Yorkie, Locker, and Plixty.
Is there only one on the softs though?
Yeah, Jimmy Dog.
Yeah, Jimmy Dog, yeah.
Oh, I thought you said, is there anyone? Not, he's the only one. Okay, I get you.
No, he's the only one. Got any more news while we've been gone? Do you know what? Today I went to a shop and they were selling.
What type of shop? Sainsbury's or what?
No, it was like another shop, but it had another shop in it. So it was like I can't remember which shop it was
Oh
in.
yeah,
Now.
it sounds a bit fruity that bit.
Yeah, I was in a shop and it had an Iceland in it, right? So I just thought, we'll have a look round.
An Iceland inside the shop.
An Iceland inside of the shop, so I thought, right, we'll have a look round.
Makes sense.
Went to the freeze, obviously, as you do in Iceland. And,
Yeah.
and they actually had in there, you know the vegan sausage rolls from Greggs? They had the actual vegan sausage rolls from Greggs in the freezer. So I brought
Yeah, but I bet they're just not the same though, are
Well, this is the trial.
You cooked them up?
Trial by fire. I was going to put one in for the race, decided against it, so I'll have to get back to everyone next week with a review of the Iceland Greggs vegan sausage rolls. Or I'll put it in the Discord or something. If everyone is
Okay,
really
right, I get
intrigued.
you. Right,
to
we've got
see
one
that.
disqualification. How many more are we
Vegan
going to
sausage
get?
rolls are the way forward, by the way. Not just because they're vegan, just because they taste better. But anyway, driver's
Nigel
lighting.
Pickle says, I'm not even parked. I don't know what that means.
That was from earlier anyway, but we are going to get 5 red lights then, and we are underway just about then at the start of the main race here, and Viking Beast is off to a flyer then already alongside Nigel Pickle before they get to the braking zone of turn 1. It looks like he might have jumped the Haas for the lead though. Nigel Pickle's going to try and hang it out, forces Viking Beast off the road. Very, very aggressive there from Nigel Pickle off the start, and that might actually have invited Espenio then to have a look at Viking Beast. So they come down the chicane then through turn 3, turn 4, and Espenio then has to sit behind the AlphaTauri for now then. Has anything else happened behind, or has it been a pretty clean restart?
Dark Grey Fox had a little bit of a clumsy start to the race. Oh no, Lapio Finn, sorry, had a bit of a clumsy start to the race, made a couple of little collisions, but he's made his way through, and it's opened up a bit of a gap from second to third, but nonetheless, that was a big improvement from last race in terms of standards of the turn 1. So big pat on the back. I know you're all coming down into Ascari, so you haven't got a hand free. But a big pat on the back as Valente sends a massive move on Yorkie and sends him into the mud.
Oh, what have you just said? What have I just witnessed? Gopher then out
It wasn't great from Valente,
the
that one.
race. Valente then you think is in the mud. The safety car is out on
Jimmy Dog's
that
up the P10.
one. The dog is in the points, and we think Valente is in the doghouse then, with a couple of drivers coming into the pit. CTX and RSF on like a CTX, who I should say did get a very good start. He was up 4 to P5 then, but he's going to be right at the back of the field now then, as the Lapio Finn Zilla is into the top 3.
Yeah, made up one position from his starting grid slot then. As I said, he made a couple of little clumsy moves at the start of the lap. But he's managed to force his way through, shall we say. But our resident Finnish driver in the what car is he in? He's in the Williams. Has made his way up to P3 then. It looks like it's going to take another lap for them to come round to get to the safety car queue then.
Yeah.
As we've had 5 drivers in the box, 3 of them choosing hard, 2 choosing soft.
Yeah, not ideal for those drivers. They're definitely not ideal for Gotha, who was second in the championship a couple of rounds ago, slipped to P6 last week and will surely fall even further then after being out in the first lap of the main race then. Viking Beast, who is leading the championship in P2 at the moment, so things going well for him, and Bawley needs to put in a shift for Mercedes now if they want to try and extend their constructors lead at the moment. But the Lapio Finn, who I believe, if I remember correctly, I have slipped since then and I am wrong, hasn't got a podium, I don't think, in TTL. Not that I'm trying to curse him.
Nigel Piggle's on 4 points in the standings, so this could be a massive haul of points from the Haas driver.
Yeah, I would say really that the top 5, apart from Viking Beast, all in a great position.
Who is the championship leader?
Yeah, apart from Viking Beast, the top 5 really, in fact, down probably to the top 7, including Marsbar and Law. Then all of them really could do with a good haul of points, and they kind of find themselves at the other end of the standings, pretty much down to the sprint race, you have to say, after what we saw there. LWS Shoki back into the pits revenge. So what's that for?
Well, he's not serving a penalty. It looks like he may have accidentally gone on the softs, and he's come back in to stick the hards on. But if I know from experience, last night I put the hards on lap 5 and they were 86% at the end of the race. I don't know how I didn't get a puncture. So these guys who have put hards on at the back will be hoping for another safety car at the end of the race to put some softer compound tyres on.
Yeah, definitely then. So it looks like the safety car will stay out for another lap then. The field not quite bunched together just yet. No update on the scores either. Those that are very keen to hear Biddle and Zilla's football debrief on Champions League Tuesdays. Silverside Boy in the chat. Now this is
big up that man.
This is no.
Oh, he said, "Come on, Nigel." In that case, shit on the Silverside Boy.
I feel dirty saying this, but come on, Nigel. What?
He forced me off, so I did it back. I don't know what you're talking about, Nigel.
I think Nigel's on about lap 1.
It looks like Big Maxwell's taken the run off at turn 1. He's completely gone through the polystyrene boards, and he's been given a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, even though he lost 3 positions.
Sounds about right.
Ideal.
Sounds about right from F122. We have had a follow from Criminal Minds, who I'm assuming is criminal from the URC, although don't take my word on that one. But he's in the chat, confirm it or not. But thank you for the follow. That's 65 now. It is, he's just said yeah, so thank you for that, Criminal. 35 away from me drinking a cow's liquid out of a rusty boot. So thank you for putting me through that. Hopefully the safety car is in on this lap then. LWS Yorkie with that late pit stop will bring up the rear of the field. We saw yesterday Revengela a bit of a contentious safety car restart with it being called in quite late. Could that happen again?
It looks
now?
like the same is going to happen. Yeah, the same is going to happen just here. So I'd like to think Nigel Piggle is going to be aware of this, and he's going to start to back off slowly. But Ashy has dropped it then, Ascari, and that's a double DNF then for a driver who's doing really well in the championship after winning at Portimao just 2 rounds ago. And it looks like the safety car's going to stay out another lap then.
Safety car staying out another lap, potentially because of what happened to Ashi. As you said, yeah, you've been doing really well in Division 2 this season. Ashi perhaps pushing for a promotion to Division 1 when we go into Season 2 in just 10 races time now. But Ashi, yeah, might need a few better races to cement that after he did win in Portimao, as you said. It was a fantastic race there, but no points today, unfortunately. Then Ashley out of the race, joining Gotherden, who was out after the first couple of laps as well in his Mercedes. So really you have to think about now eventually. We've had about 3 or 4 laps behind the safety car here. What kind of strategy do those drivers on the medium tyres look to do now? Can they push to the soft, do you think, or do you think it's just too much to ask?
I think personally it's going to be too much to ask. There's a reason that the medium to hard strategy is the best on near enough every circuit on this game, and because often the hard tyre is the best race tyre. It's the tyre that can work in a decent temperature range for the longest. It's a tyre that's going to give you the grip throughout the stint, regardless of whether it's 2 laps old or 15 laps old. And consistency around this track is incredibly key. Once you get in a rhythm, it's really easy to keep the lap times really consistent. But the safety car has alerted us that it's in this lap, and Nigel Piggott has begun backing up the pack.
Back of the pack with really, he's really let the safety car go here.
Oh, there's some front wing off already.
Yeah, it's
in the background.
Pretty bunched up here. Nigel Piggott looking to try and catch Viking Beast out there and get some temperature into those medium Pirellis. Viking Beast looks ready and raring to go. And Nigel Piggott now then puts the throttle down and gets away from the AlphaTauri behind him. Nigel Piggott leads us on to lap 6. Viking Beast following closely behind. The Lapio Finn P3 for now, but will Espenio have a look? Not quite. He's got to defend from Darth Grey Fox and in the Red Bull.
Oh, it's Darth Grey Fox who goes too deep, and he's pushed the Lapio Finn and the Spenio wide. And Marsbar then has got the switch back on the pair of them. The Lapio Finn has got illegal overtakes. So Marsbar makes up 3 positions in one corner then. Unbelievable exit there from the Ferrari driver, and he gets himself up to P2, up in front. Viking Beast had a look at Nigel Piggott, who shuts the door.
Yeah, we had a flag out as well at the back of the field. I think it's the dog.
Jimmy Dog.
The Jimmy Dog is round then at the chicane, and he has continued on though and hasn't brought out another safety car. As you said, the Lapio Finn I think will feel very, very hard done by that one. Darth Grey Fox completely missing his braking zone, and yeah, Lapio Finn then, who was P3 down to P6 and with a 5-second penalty for good measure. I imagine we'll be seeing that one sent to the stewards, and they'll be looking for some kind of payback on Darth Grey Fox for that move then. But Marsbar into ideal. P3, and after a terrible sprint race, I should say, after he was involved in a late incident, now then running in the podium places for now.
Yeah, not ideal if we jump back to the football scores quickly, because Dons are 1-0 down at Bristol Rovers and we're now sitting in 23rd. Anyway, back to the race. Locker, Maxwell and Yorkie are going to look to potentially go 3 wide down into turn 1. Yorkie is going to have a look at the inside, but up in front, it's CTX who holds the line into turn 1. Locker's going to take a look, and Locker spins Law around.
Dear.
Locker spins Law around. Plixty in the background getting shoved off by Maxwell. I don't think could have done much about it. And it's Locker who's caused a big old incident there, and he stopped to let Law pass, which I don't think is going to make much of a difference, but nonetheless, it's very courteous from the Alpine driver. But up in front into Lesmo 1 then. Borley's going to have a look around the outside of the Lapio Finn, who holds the line, and I'm Now Decent is going to make the most of Borley heading wide round Lesmo 1, and I'm Now Decent has got himself up into P7, and it's both him and Lapio Finn then who are chasing down his Red Bull compatriot as Darth Grey Fox leads away the battle for P5.
Darth Grey Fox doing well to hold on to P5 at the moment from the Lapio Finn, and he's allowing really the front four to pull away from the rest of those drivers in the field. And well, just looking back at that incident with RSF1 Locker, you have to say, oh, there's a yellow flag out. It's Marsbar. Marsbar's round off the parabolic, and then he's in the gravel. The back end just got away from him. He's got no front wing. He'll be into the box then, and what was looking very promisingly for the beloved Marsbar, unfortunately, into the pits.
Such a good safety car restart. Desperately unlucky, but it's not over. It's only lap 8, and there's potential for safety cars later on. CTX and Jimmy Dog are both going to follow him back into the pits after they got caught up in some incidents. But in front, it looks like our battle for P4 now is our battle that is closest on track, and it's I'm Now Decent, who is still stuck behind the Williams of the Lapio Finn, who has got DRS from the car in front. It's going to be incredibly difficult for I'm Now Decent to cut through these two drivers, but this battling for P4 Biddle is bringing Borley back into it.
Borley does need to get back into it for his Mercedes team as the sole Mercedes running in the field then, so this very much working in his favour. It should be said though, Darth Grey Fox is starting to claw back up to Espenio ever so slightly, and I wonder if I'm Now Decent then is going to look to make a move on the Lapio Finn. I was just saying before all that happened with Mars. Oh, and in the background, just as I go to talk about it once again, I'm Now Decent flies into the barrier and waiting very patiently for cars
just
to
bigging him
go
up.
past. I'm Now Decent, who just got completely excited. What else is going on?
Lapio Finn really deep in. Sorry to interrupt, but the Lapio Finn went really deep in a turn 1. Did ever so well not to slam into the back of Darth Grey Fox, but as a result has dropped back a second and a half, and he's really brought Borley back into this.
Yeah, definitely then Lapio Finn looks like he's been a little bit unnerved by that move from Darth Grey Fox earlier on then. Now getting a bit frustrated in P5. Maxwell into the pits now too. Rejoins the race behind Jimmy Dog as the last car on the road then in P15 now. And yeah, as I'll say it again, hopefully someone won't crash. That collision earlier between RSF1 Locker and Law. RSF1 Locker's been in the walls a little bit recently in TTL, and you can't imagine Law will be too happy with the incident that happened earlier on. But fortunately for him, it looks like he is tagging onto the back end of some points still.
Yeah, I feel desperately unlucky. I know Locker will more than likely apologise after the race for that incident. He normally is very good at owning up to his mistakes, but it has cost Law a lot of time. But as you said, it is not the end of the world. He has managed to get himself in a fairly decent position, and he's hunting down Plixty then for P9.
Yeah, definitely he has the tyre advantage at the moment on those mediums then. We're already on to lap 10 in this main race as Marsbar then joins his Ferrari teammate in retiring from the race, and he's come out of Ascari there and hit the wall. So both Ferraris then non-point finishes in this main race of the 5th round in TTL. That's a big shame for them in the constructors. And yeah, that corner seems to be catching a lot of drivers out over these past 2 races, Revenge, and I don't think he'll be the last person we see spin there.
Yeah, it's very difficult with the ideal line for that corner that, you know, gains you the most time is primarily running over the curbs, which is always going to give that risk of unsettling the car. But the 2 drivers who look to be navigating that section the best are Viking Beast and Nigel Piggle. If we look at the ERS, Ridley, Viking Beast is only 7 tenths behind, but he's got about 50% more battery. And this is, you know, when he elects to use some of this battery, it's really going to give him the chance to close this gap. And now, psychologically, you've got to think he's just seen Nigel Piggle flashing up in front. Does he now think this is the time to pounce?
Yeah, potentially. Viking Beast looking very handy at the moment in his AlphaTauri then. and perhaps set up a little bit better here on these medium tyres. We've done it already a longer distance than we had in the sprint. And, well, there is three things sometimes that are certain in life, Revengula, on a race day, especially in TTL. One of those things is definitely our TTL dinner lady retiring from the race. And I did say...
And he's out.
Marsbar
And the
wouldn't
safety
be...
car is out.
Yeah, I did say Marsbar wouldn't be the last driver to go round at Ascari, and Jimmy Dog.
We'll go for some more football scores then, whilst the safety car's out,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Well,
let's go through.
We have, I think the only extra goal we've had since we last went through it is we've had an equaliser from Benfica against PSG.
Oh, we love
So
that.
there's been two penalties in that game, but it's now 1-1 in that game, and that leaves that group very interesting actually, because it's PSG and Benfica on 8 points apiece, and Juventus down on 3. So really, a draw wouldn't be too bad for the pair of these teams, because it's going to leave them both 5 points clear in the promotion spots. And also, this 1-0 lead from Shakhtar over Real Madrid means that Red Bull Leipzig might not even qualify here, which would be a bit of a shock.
Yeah, very shocking there from the football. Thank you for that, Revengula.
Very shocking.
Anyway, into the pits.
I'm going for a wee. You can talk about the real race.
most of the field are pitted while you were giving us the lowdown on the scores there. There are only 2 drivers to stay out. Then it looks like at the minute LWS Yorkie and Belente then continue rounds. 10-lap-old hard tyres. Yorkie inherits the lead in doing that then. And this has come at the perfect time, this safety car, for those runners who are on the medium tyres, and swapping over to the hards will surely allow them to run to the end of the race. CTX and Bully have come together now in the sprint race and now the main race. CTX gets himself another penalty for doing so. Interesting between these two. Very good friends, of course, but a bit controversial in the race. Anyway, the safety car has picked up the leader, LWS Yorkie then, who will need to pit before the end of this race. And quickly looking then at the Twitch chat now, we have got I'm Now Decent, who said he had rear wing damage. Not ideal. Best for everyone that he retires. Well, yeah, I can't imagine how undrivable that car would have been on red rear wing damage. So, yeah, unlucky for you, sir. Hopefully you get better luck next week. It looked like you had some good pace, but unfortunately unable to finish the race. And safety car will lead us round once again. Revengula gives him a bit more time to come back from his toilet trip. We have got 13 runners left in the race then. He's back from his toilet trip. And
was anyone on a bit of a different strategy? Okay, well, Yorkie and Belente have gambled, I see.
I was just about to ask you, Flixty has gone onto the medium tyres then with 15 to go.
Yeah, he could stretch it, I think. Well, how many laps did Jock do yesterday on his mediums?
About a million.
Because he did quite a stint.
Yeah, about a million. RSF1.
I think Plixty's... Yeah, I think there's no arguments to be had there. I think Moffat knows he was at fault and he's done the right thing.
Yeah. You just say yesterday, Jock, took those medium tyres a very long way.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to see if Plixty can go incident free. He's got a good chance of making up some positions here on these hard tyre runners, and especially on the safety car restarts. It's really difficult to get the hard tyres back up to temperature.
Yeah, definitely. I think the last thing he'll want is the safety car to come in on this lap, but there you go. Right on cue, the safety car will be coming into the pits on this lap then. So we had a Nigel Piggle restart earlier. This time around we have an LWS Yorkie restart then. Him and Belente really the only 2 in the field then. They have pitted this race, but you would think they'd have to pit before the end, otherwise not going to have much performance over those behind them. But you never know. Yorkie doing the same as Nigel Pickle and backing the field up massively here.
Yeah, it looks like he started really early with backing the field up, and the safety car is going to be in the pit lane now. So any time now, Yorkie is available to go, and he's gone early. He's really caught Viking Beast napping, and that means that Nigel Pickle's going to get an opportunity here to really pull the gap, and he might be able to get past Valente and put a car between him and the Alpha Tauri. And it looks like that is going to be our closest battle then down into turn one. But Nigel Pickle's going to use a lot of that battery. Valente's not going to. And it is going to leave Nigel Pickle then up in P2 with Yorkie up in front to chase. It looks like Viking Beast has just tagged Valente, who tagged Nigel Pickle in front, and Valente's come off a little bit worse. We'll hope that Viking Beast did not get damaged from that, but it was a little bit clumsy from the pair into turn one. Valente has managed to hold the position from Espenio, and Viking Beast is going to be then on the hunt for Nigel Pickle.
Yeah, Viking Beast looking okay at the moment though, but I just note I think he might have a small bit of damage on that front wing. Hopefully he's got away with it a little bit so it doesn't affect him too much. But it's a perfect restart for LWS Yorkie then, who's nearly a second ahead of Nigel Pickle. But with that tyre advantage then for the Haas driver, you'd imagine he would quickly get back within that 1 second gap. Then Plixty's already up to P9 then on those medium tyres, and now it's a question of how quickly he can get past his teammate then and onto the likes of the Lapio Finn. But his teammate actually making a move on the Lapio Finn. They're side by side as they come down now to the Parabolica. The Lapio Finn's got the inside line. Can CTX get a bit of an undercut here and try and come back the other way, then down into turn one? And up in front as well, Espenio getting a good run on Valente now down to turn one as well. Will he look to stick a tyre up the inside, feeds back in behind there? Darth Grey Fox actually goes a little bit deep in the braking zone, doesn't manage to get past, and nor too does CTX on the Lapio Finn.
Yeah, you alluded to Plixty on the restart. He has just lost the position to Borley though, as Borley used a lot of the battery down in towards turn one, and Borley's going to look to overtake two Aston Martins in two corners, but he just sits in behind CTX for now. You alluded to their contact in the safety car period, so I think Borley's going to be very cautious when he goes to make a move on his good friend CTX. But it's a very, very tight battle here for P6, Biddle.
Yeah, very tight indeed. Darth Grey Fox, CTX, Borley, Plixty then, and really Law as well. In fact, as far back as RSF1 Locker, all looking then on the back of the Lapio Finn. Will feel like a hunted man at the moment then, but they are squabbling amongst themselves, and Borley is all at the back of CTX. CTX right behind Darth Grey Fox as well then, as they come down to the final corner once more. No one looking to make a move just yet. No DRS yet, of course. After that safety car, it will be activated now as Yorkie crosses the line. And Nigel Pickle's just a couple of attempts back, and will he look to make the dive here into turn one? Doesn't look like he's close enough.
Yeah, in the background, it looks like Valente is going to come under pressure now from the cars behind. It's forming a little bit of a DRS train. What has happened with Plixty? He's gone on at turn one. He's missed his braking zone, Biddle, and he drops to the back of the field. That's desperately unlucky and a big error there. And it's not the first error we've seen at turn one from Plixty. But in the background, it looks like RSF1 Locker was having another look at Law, who he made contact with earlier in the race, but he decides against the move that time. And just jumping back to the front, it looks like Yorkie's had a bit of a shake at the end of at the exit of Lesmo 2, and it's caused him to go on the gravel, and Nigel Pickle, as a result, has got the better exit, and he is going to take the lead of the race then. Will Yorkie be able to put up a fight? And it looks like he's already lost about 6/10 in Ascari alone. So, yeah, it's not looking too good for Yorkie, but he's going to use what battery he has left to keep it in the DRS of Nigel Pickle. And albeit that is not a lot of battery, as the light is flashing now for Yorkie. And that's going to allow Viking Beast to close the gap.
Yeah.
We're going to have a spicy battle for P4 into turn one here, Bidley.
Yeah, Valente, I just know, battling with Espenio, then into the Parabolica. Can Espenio get a move done here on Valente? He will have DRS assistance this time around. Looks to hang it round the outside. Turns in slightly on Valente, but leaves just enough room, you'd have to say, from Espenio there, and he takes P4 away then. But this train then that stretches all the way back now to P11 really is going to give him some great wheel-to-wheel racing then, with 11 laps to go now on the counter in the top left. No one looking to have a move there into the chicane. They carry on status quo for now then. And the question is really, who can come out on top here in this battle for P4?
Ooh.
As Bawley and Law look like they're having a bit of fisticuffs there through the middle of the Lesmos.
Yeah, a little bit cheeky from Law to send one into Lesmo 1, and it resulted in him getting on the power a little bit too early on the exit of Lesmo 1 and losing the back end. Bawley did really, really well to avoid the contact, but as a result, left himself vulnerable to RSF1 Locker, who made the move stick, and now that's Locker into the last points-paying position. But up in front then, it's the Lapio Finn who is next to put Valente under pressure, but both struggling for battery. And it might be Darth Grey Fox with the most battery out of the four that looks to make a move in the turn one. The Lapio Finn is flashing. He's got the rear wing open. It's going to be side by side for the Williams and the Alfa Romeo in the turn one. The Williams is going to go deeper on the brakes, and it's excellent move then from the Lapio Finn, and he gets the move done on Valente. But Valente is going to fight back on the exit, and he's going to try and hang it around the outside of turn three. The Lapio Finn is going to try and go as defensive as possible. Valente is already past then into the braking zone, but the Lapio Finn's going to go deep on the brakes. He's going to try and hang it around the outside, but he does not have the grip, albeit the fresher tyres. He does not have the grip, and he's going to be vulnerable now to Darth Grey Fox, who's going to have a look into Lesmo 1. Darth Grey Fox gets the move done into Lesmo 2 now. And we are status quo again, but the Lapio Finn then losing out there 2 positions, and he's going to have to look to use what battery he has left to fight back. Otherwise, he's at risk of losing another position here as CTX has got onto the back of this group.
Yeah, it really is one of those things.
Jesus Christ, it was all happening there, sorry. I ran out of breath.
It's just one of those things that you can't stop watching, though. And fantastic racing from all those in that middle pack at the moment. Great wheel-to-wheel stuff. Darth Grey Fox now looking to have a look on Valente then, as Espenio looks so broken out of this gaggle of cars then, and trying to cement P4, which he has already finished in so far this season, a couple of rounds ago actually. Darth Grey Fox now moves up to P5, which if he could hold it would be his best finish in TTL, but there's a long way to go still. 9 laps left of this race, and Valente then looking to get back P5 almost immediately then. Swings to the outside of the Red Bull as they come down to the chicane now, but Darth Grey Fox able to make P5 his own for the minute. And I'm just wondering if he could try and break away now from Valente. And really, you have to say the DRS is what is keeping all these drivers so close together. I think there's been another incident with another yellow flag going on at the back of the field. Revengezilla, what's happened there?
Yeah, I think it was quickly resolved. It was, I believe, RSF1 Locker just dipping a wheel into the gravel, but managed to get back on the racing line nice and quickly. We'll give a quick shout out to both Lewis Yorkie and Valente here. Their tyres are definitely going to be 60% plus after 17 laps, and they're doing incredibly well, but they do have 8 more laps to try and eke out of these tyres. They will be praying for a safety car at this time. Nigel Pigler's pulled a 3-second gap out in front, and he's really making that tyre advantage work, and Viking Beast is just struggling to reel that gap in. But back for the battle for P5, Valente back into the slipstream then of Darth Grey Fox, who goes defensive into turn 1. Valente is going to look to get the better exit as Darth Grey Fox takes a slightly different line to try and defend that position. But it looks like Valente's not quite going to have the grip on the exit, but he is going to get a slightly better exit than Darth Grey Fox. I'm not sure he's going to be quite close enough into the braking zone. He's not, so he's going to have to wait another lap before getting an opportunity on the Red Bull driver.
Yep, has to settle then for P6 still at the moment. I just quickly flicked then, as you can see on your screen, the gap between 1st and 12th is still short of 15 seconds, and so all the drivers are very close on track, and really is anyone's taking for some points today at the moment. But it is Nigel Piggle with about 8 to go trying to cement his lead on this race. He's got the fastest lap as well at the moment, so we'll get an extra point for that as Bawley then gets a 3-second time penalty. So too does RSF1 Locker, and Bawley then through the Ascari chicane. Is this the gift that LWS Yorkie and Valente wanted? It doesn't look like it's going to be a safety car.
Oh, and in the background, Valente's dropped it.
Yeah, keeps it at the wall though, but he is backwards at the Parabolica and will join the back of the train. Oh, we were on board with that. CTX looking like he thinks he's going to be a safety car. He has pitted.
And the gamble has not paid off, but albeit I think he would have had to box at some point anyway. 14-lap old mediums with 6 laps still to go. I don't think it would have been possible. But he's going to have a chance at the fastest lap attempt now.
Yeah, you'd imagine he'd be able to beat the 22 Nigel Piggle has set so far. 4 seconds the advantage now then, as Viking Beast has finally pulled up to the back of the Alpine now in his quest for second place in this race, and he was second in the sprint as well, looking to finish second in the main race now if he can get ahead of that Alpine. And I think Yorkie would have had everything crossed then, Revengula for a safety car for Bawley, but unfortunately for him, not a safety car at the moment.
I think albeit, even though the safety car's not come out there for Lewis Yorkie, he's doing incredibly well to still be in front of Viking Beast, who's on 10-lap fresher tyres. And Lewis Yorkie is keeping that gap fairly stable. And if you look at the ERS differences, Lewis Yorkie is actually coming to the box. Delapio Finn then in behind Dark Grey Fox.
If you look at the ERS
I want to die.
differences,
I want to die. His ERS is going to be through the roof now. This is into the box.
I was just about to quickly touch on the penalties as well, because I noticed that LWS Yorkie had a 5-second penalty, which he's just had removed. CTX with 3, RSF1 Locker with 6 seconds at the moment, which would put him back to P9 then, as the Lapio Finn now looking to get back into P4. But Dark Grey Fox, it has to be said, referring to them, we haven't seen the best of Dark Grey Fox in TTL yet, you would say, but he has done a stellar job here in both the sprint and the main race now. P4 at the moment for him, and I'm pretty sure he'd love to finish in P4 if he can get away with it, as Nigel Piggle out in front then has picked up a 3-second time penalty. It doesn't matter at the moment, he has 6 seconds over Viking Beast in P2, but will that encourage Viking Beast, you think, Revengula, to try and get that gap down?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think Viking Beast thinks he's got the pace in the locker. I mean, he's lost just over half a second as Nigel Piggle's obviously starting to push. I mean, it's a bit cheesy that on the same lap he gets a corner cutting penalty, but he also goes purple. A little bit fishy to me, but we'll let it slip for now, as the soft runners will more than likely take that lap time off of him. But the battle for P4 is on, as Lapio Finn is in the DRS then. Darth Grey Fox is going to go defensive, but Lapio Finn is going to try and hold it round the outside. Excellent racing from the pair. The Lapio Finn has to brake slightly in between turn 1 and 2 to avoid the contact, but very well driven by the pair. And it looks like the Lapio Finn's not quite going to have the exit out of turn 2 to make an attempt of a move into turn 4. So we'll jump in the background to Law, as he's a little bit closer to Locker. And Law is going to decide against it. Locker's light is flashing, then he's under 10%. Law not much better off himself. But yeah, really good battles going on here. One for P4 and one for P6. And there's quite a difference in points between the pair. So, with potentially incidents happening across the race, this battle for P4 could end up being for the podium. But for now, it is the battle for P4. And it looks like Darth Grey Fox has just got the upper hand for now.
Darth Grey Fox, as we already said, driving a stellar race so far. Then the Lapio Finn will desperately want that P4 back off Darth Grey Fox, who, as you alluded to there, eventually he might feel a little bit hard done by after a certain move earlier on down into turn 1. But that aside, he has drove flawlessly so far. But will the Lapio Finn now, with DRS, not using the battery though, conserving that, pulls to the right hand side of the Red Bull then. Will go late on the brakes. Can he keep the traction this time round? He is on the right side of that corner and gets ahead of the Red Bull then, and I'm wondering if he'll pull off now into the sunset and into that P4, and whether with just 4 laps left to go of this race he can get anywhere near the back of Espenio.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big ask to get anywhere near the McLaren driver. But with penalties relatively easy to pick up around here, you know, a penalty in the last few laps could really change up the finishing order here. With the Lapio Finn up to P4, will he be able to pull the gap then on Darth Grey Fox? We look at the ERS and they are almost identical. So we'll see if Darth Grey Fox can mount another challenge then in towards turn 1. As he looks like he has a better Ascari than the Williams driver. He might even get close enough come to Parabolica. He's going to use a tiny bit of battery, and the Lapio Finn's going to use a little bit of battery to defend. But Darth Grey Fox is happy to sit in behind. He's going to actually shape towards the inside. The Lapio Finn is going to give him the room on the inside, and that was very close to contact. But they get away with it, and they're going to run down to turn 1 now, and it looks like surely Darth Grey Fox is going to get the move done easily before they get to the braking zone of turn 1. He's going to go defensive again, and the Lapio Finn is going to look around the outside, and he's going to try and hold it, but slot in behind the Red Bull driver and look to get the better exit, as it looks like Locker is getting involved in this battle now.
Yeah, these two fighting has dragged then the Alpine of RSF1 Locker into this battle now for P4. He is carrying 6 seconds worth of penalties, so not too sure how much that will affect his final standing. But this fight between Darth Grey Fox and the Lapio Finn has been titanic, and it has been a few laps long now, really, between the pair of them. In stark contrast to the Division 1 race yesterday, we didn't quite have a lot of action towards the end of the race. And in saying that, Revengula, Espenio is now within a second
I was
of
just
Viking
about
Beast.
to point this out. I know we pointed out earlier about that contact on the safety car restart with Viking Beast and Belente. I wonder if he has got wing damage, you know, whether it's just light green, because it looks like in the last few laps, Espenio has really started to bridge that gap, and this is a battle for P2, and it looks like both drivers have the light flashing. Viking Beast is weaving all over the place. I'm not too sure what he's trying to achieve there.
Yeah.
He's going to go defensive into turn 1. It looks like Espenio is going to get the better exit from the pair, but not going to be close enough. And it looks like Darth Grey Fox in P4 has had a little bit of a mare into turn 1. He's run wide, and he's had to take a compromised exit through 2. And the Lapio Finn now is going to use all of his battery that he has remaining, because he's going to try and put Darth Grey Fox under pressure into turn 4, but he's not going to be close enough this time, Biddle.
No, he has to settle for P5. Again, they're on the penultimate lap now here then of this 5th round race. Main race, I should say as well, around Monza. It has been a fantastic race. Really, really good fights throughout the field and good racing on the whole as well. A bit different to the sprint race we had earlier on then, as Espenio does get ahead of Viking Beast to use the DRS to his advantage there. And I think, Revengula, you might be right. I think Viking Beast must have some kind of damage, because really the opening stage of this race, he matched Nigel Piggle for pace, and since that safety car restart, he just hasn't had an answer for the pace of the Haas out in front. Now the question is, on a final run down to turn 1, has he got anything left in that AlphaTauri to try and drag him back into second? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to, and that might be his best opportunity. The race squandered as he goes very deep into turn 1 as well. And in the background then, RSF1 Locker has a bit of a sniff on the back of the Lapio Finn, who's now trying to get ahead of Darth Grey Fox in their fight for 4th place. But still, it is status quo between those three now as well. Lights blinking all over the place in terms of battery. Viking Beast still can't get ahead and repass Espenio, as we will go to the final DRS zone for one final time then. Can Viking Beast get a good exit then after second? Lesbo not quite enough. He's going to be too far back. In the background of all this, RSF1 Locker has passed the Lapio Finn on track. He'll fall back behind with penalties. We do need to switch away from this one ever so quickly, as Nigel Piggle then comes around The parabolic sorry. For one final time, Nigel Pickle wins the
What a performance.
main race of the 5th round in TTL. Espenio then is going to get an unlikely P2 and P3 for Viking Beast, but who is going to be P4? It looks like Darth Grey Fox is going to hold on for his best TTL finish. RSF1 Locker crosses the line in P5 but falls back then to P8 with his 6 seconds worth of penalties, meaning the Williams boys of the Lapio Finn and Law finish 5th and 6th. Good haul of points for the Williams team. Plixty unable to make the dent I think he would have wanted to on those medium tyres, but still get some good points in 7th place. RSF1 Locker down to 8th, as I said, with those penalties. LWS Yorkie picks up a couple of points for his Alpine team, and CTX then rounds off the points finishers in P10, a double points finish for Aston Martin as well then. What a race, Revengula. We'll watch the podium now, of course, but I mean, it's Plixty, the driver of the day in game. We'll get to your driver of the day very shortly, but what a race we were treated to there for the main race.
Yeah, both the sprint and the main race were excellent. Drama, excellent overtakes, and really, really close racing throughout. Obviously, we did have a few incidents in the sprint and a couple here and there in the main race, so these results are subject to steward's inquiry. But nonetheless, our podium sitters will be celebrating this one, with Nigel Piggle then leading from start to finish in both the sprint and the main race. What a performance at Monza, and he really was a class apart.
Yeah, dominant then from the Haas driver, who, as you mentioned earlier on, had only scored 4 points before this race. But can he start then a late title charge in Division 2? Can he carry that pace over to further rounds? I would have been through the top 10, so let's go with the rest of the field. Valente was the last of the finishers in P11. Unfortunately, the strategy just not quite working out for him in his Alfa Romeo today. And then we go to the drivers that didn't make the finish, unfortunately. Many drivers having incidents in the race. Bally Maxwell and Jimmy Dog, who we saw crash and bring out the safety car earlier on. Mars Bar, I'm Now Decent, who had the pace today to challenge for some good points, but got it all wrong coming into the Parabolica, got some rear wing damage and chose to retire in the pits. Ashy, who we saw lose it under the safety car, and Gopher then, who didn't even finish a lap in the race, rounds off the classification. And of course, as I said, we will go then to Revengula, who we saw the game give driver of the day to Plixty, who finished P7 from a P18 start. But have you got a differing opinion? Who's your driver of the day?
To be honest, mate, I do have a slightly different opinion. I mean, I think Plixty's had an excellent race, and obviously he's made up 11 positions there, which is, no easy task. But I was thinking of giving it to Darth Grey Fox. I think this is by far, across both the sprint and the main race, been his best performance in TTL. And it really gives him a solid foundation to build on in the next few races.
Yeah, definitely we did speak about it. He put in a fantastic performance today. He had one slight hiccup, but we'll see if the stewards have anything to say about that one. But Darth Grey Fox, driver of the day for the main race here at round 5. That's all we've got time for this evening, and we are finished for the week in TTL. But our partners have got races on this week, and in fact, our partner stream, the URC, is about to go live in about 5 minutes' time, I think, as they reveal their calendar for next season. It says season 4 on there. I'm pretty sure they're in season 3, so it needs to get that changed. They're revealing the calendar for season 4 in about 5 minutes' time, so be sure to head over there to twitch.tv/theurc to see what their calendar looks like for next season. And they're racing around Brazil this Friday at 7:30. Our friends over at Fair Play Racing League are racing this Wednesday to Friday. Be sure to tune in for some races around Hungary. That's twitch.tv/FP Racing League. And we'll be back next week on Monday then, 8 o'clock in the evening. It's round 6 for our Division 1 boys. They're going to take us around Abu Dhabi, of course. You can watch it here at twitch.tv/TTL Racing F1. But as I said, that is all we've got time for. Thank you for joining me tonight, Revengezilla. It's been an absolute ball, as it always is, and I hope you have enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, I think both the sprint and the main race there were excellent. Some of the best battling we've had in Division 2 this season, and definitely hoping for some more of that in the coming races. And you obviously alluded to what else we've got coming up this week, but we are back again next week with a track that I can't remember.
Abu Dhabi.
But I've got it here in front of me. We're at Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Everybody, if you haven't been told already, we're back at Abu Dhabi next week.
Yeah.
Home of the sand. We're back.
Yeah.
Going to be a wet race.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see rain, yeah. I wonder if we'll see some rain. Anyway, as I said, that's all we've got time for. But we have got 5 minutes then. In 5 minutes' time, as I said, the URC get live with their tweets, so head over there right now to see what their calendar looks like, and something to do with team principals. Apparently I'm one for next season. I don't know what I'm doing though, so we'll see what happens there. But until next week, it's goodbye from me, goodbye from everyone here, and we'll see you then.